Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast dedicated to helping you discover great wines with great value for every occasion. On this episode, we review
the 2022 Decoy Cabernet Sauvignon.
That's right, the Decoy Cabernet Sauvignon. Aaron, Colin, and Joel here, your wine guides. Y'all, it is duck season, baby.
It is, apparently. I will say I'm kind of excited about this one because if you don't know why it's duck season, this is a bottle that is everywhere. It's got a big old ducky on the label. And I've never had this, but it's it catches your eye. I've seen it all over the place, and I've never tried it, so this is going to be fun.
All over the place to the point where my wife was like, "You guys have reviewed that before, right?" I was like, "No, we've never had this one." She's like, "But it looks so familiar." I'm like, "Yeah, because it's literally in every store that sells wine that you could possibly imagine."
And I have to say, I know we're going to talk about this a little more later, but the overarching branding as Decoy is part of the Duckhorn portfolio, and so I think we've seen Duckhorn. A lot of wine drinkers have seen Duckhorn. I know, I'd been there in Napa. It's a beautiful estate. They make really great wine, but like in Decoy is a branch of that, and then they have a whole bunch of other estates, and they all use ducks. So you might have seen a different one of their vineyards, but the branding is so familiar and consistent. I don't know, it's kind of a cool concept. It's like, you're going to trust one, even though it could be a completely different vineyard based on that centered Duckhorn reputation.
Sure. Yeah. I would say I'm guessing that the reason that your wife, Colin, thought that we had this before is because we have tried many different animal-themed wines on the show.
That is true. That is true.
And
not afraid of the
animal.
animals.
The track record, not that great. When we're featuring an animal on the label,
What are you talking
has
about?
not been.
What are you talking about? Which one are you talking about?
Wrong.
We had a great stag's leap.
The stag's leap. Okay, that is an exception. I'll give you that. I'm thinking chicken wine. I'm thinking
That's the fox wine, right? We did the fox.
Oh yeah,
the fox wine.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
No, you're right.
Okay, so
You're
we're
right.
1 for 3, maybe. We can get back to 500 today, maybe.
No foxes, no chickens. Yes, stags. Today it's about ducks. And let's see what we're going to be drinking today. Colin, would you like to tell the listener what we're drinking?
By the way, welcome back, Colin.
Oh, thanks.
Happy to have you. How was your time off last week?
It was pretty bad. I was sick, which is why I wasn't.
It was so weird when Colin was just like, "Screw you guys, I'm not coming tonight. It's on you. I worked too hard." Then he went to the beach.
No, I had a sinus infection. I'm still a little stuffy, actually, but yeah, it was pretty awful. But here we are.
Well, you missed a good one. Maybe you should have done the mulled wine episode. I bet that Witch's Brew would have just cleared it up.
Totally.
Yeah. No, I had a hard time getting out of bed. So
Makes it hard. Makes it hard to drink wine when you're immobile.
Yeah, to heat that up.
Horizontal.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like the right move at the time.
All right. Well, now that you're back with us,
Yes.
and a historic loss not having you, last week. Let the listener know
We were okay.
what are we drinking today?
We did all right.
You guys did fine.
It was a great episode.
Yeah,
Paige was great.
I appreciate it, but
Paige
you
was there.
guys were
She
great.
really carried the show.
Yeah, we were just like, man, this is what this would feel like with Paige instead of Colin, huh?
It's nice.
No, it's not bad.
Wouldn't blame it. So tonight we are drinking the Decoy Cabernet Sauvignon. This is 94% Cabernet Sauvignon, 6% Merlot. This is from the 2022 vintage. It cost around $17, and it comes in at 13.9 ABV.
Man,
13.9.
Yes,
We're
low
both
cost,
remarking
high
about-
ABV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, this was mine. I gotta be honest with you. I was thinking about getting a different wine. I want to try Duckhorn's Washington Vineyard, which is called Canvasback. But Colin's still a little stuffy. We're coming off a busy week, so we thought we'd ease in because Duckhorn has such a big portfolio. I said maybe it'd be better to start at their entry level Cabernet Sauvignon, which is what this is. And so
And then there's only one way to go from there. At least we have that.
we can only go up.
true.
We
That's
can
true.
only go up. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I
hopefully.
want to try it. We see it everywhere. It's super available. It's attached to a big name. Let's see what it's about. Is this a big brand week?
This
This
is
would be a big
officially a
brand
big
week.
brand week.
It's officially a big brand week. Decoy, big brand week. So here you can see us anywhere, and we'll see how it is.
Yeah, I tell you what, I love. I think it's always fun when we do a big brand week. Like we've said before, trying to find a diamond in the rough and something that everybody can find wherever they are. So that's the spirit. That's the fun. I will say I tried to look up just to get kind of an idea of the size of this producer and specifically for the Cabernet Sauvignon, and they do not disclose that information. So closely
it's a
guarded
lot.
secret. So it's probably a lot.
It's a big, big number. Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Totally.
We have been before. And that
That's true.
$17 mark has kind of been that magic number that we found in the past.
I will say I got mine at a grocery store. I spent $22 on this thing. And
Whoa.
Grocery store
yeah.
tax.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So there's a little range out there on this.
Right.
That's definitely, hopefully, the high end. But
I would guess if you if this is the kind of wine that you can grab at like a 7-Eleven or a gas station, I bet it's like 25, 27 there.
Maybe.
yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen it at a gas station.
Yeah.
If I do, though, I'll let you know.
Take a picture.
Yes,
Toss
I
it on
will.
the socials.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's a lot of speculation that we just had. Let's stop guessing and start drinking.
Yay?
We set the bar somewhere to start for this one.
Tastes like wine.
Well, I don't mean to. I mean, I do really respect Duckhorn wine a lot. So I am excited about the potential. Joel, why don't you start us off? What are you getting on the nose?
Yeah. Kind of a mix of a couple of things. One, from a fruit perspective, cherry, little plum in there, definitely red fruit situation. I do think we may be in some, I won't say fake oak, but definitely some decoy oak situations here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That might be the decoy that they're talking about here on the label. But yeah, I think we might be working with some of that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Cherry, real big off nose, and like that candy cherry. It just has that right off the top. It just has, it's like a little lighter. It's like really, really, really ripe. And I agree with you. I think when we talk about mass produced wine, you get into that conversation about controlling the experience, right? If Decoy is your Cab Sauv that you love, and you're gonna grab this whenever you go out, I'm gonna imagine that you're someone who wants it to taste the same every single time, and maybe you're not looking for variations in the variety. So like that's my little prediction right there.
Yeah.
And then you get into the oak being manipulated a little bit, and the flavors being manipulated a little bit because they're trying to create a consistent experience.
Sure.
I don't know, Colin, you getting anything on those?
Are either of you guys getting a little bit of alcohol on the nose? Because that's one thing I noticed is maybe a little burny. It's not terrible.
Sure.
It's not terrible, but a little burny. But I think pretty much what you guys said. I mean, it's not terribly complex. You get some plum, maybe a little cherry, and then you're right, some of that oak. But that's really all I'm getting. There's
No,
not
and
really
now that
much
you
going
say
on.
that, I do, when you take like a real deep inhale through the nose, you do get a little bit of that menthol-y kind of, I always kind of think
Yeah,
of it
it's
as
not a
like
terrible thing.
cold and higher kind of just like, and I think like the alcohol burny sensation. It's not over the top, but it's definitely there.
For sure.
Cool. All right, let's take a sip. Many sips, maybe. Joel?
I think we're pretty spot on. Fruit-wise, it's actually, the fruit is kind of nice, in my opinion. And it's all the same things that we were talking about, the cherry, the plum, nothing really new is peeking out. The thing that is new is I feel like I'm now inside a humidor a little bit. Anybody else getting that right now?
Yeah, you got that
Ooh,
smokiness.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Is everything a little thin to you guys? Like, it's not
Yes.
very expressive on the palate. You know, it just seems all very like it's there. Like, I think the flavors we called out are there, but it's all kind of watery in the intensity.
Yeah,
Definitely.
my brain keeps kind of going back to this concept of like intentionally unoffensive. Like it's like they've created this experience. Like, it is not overly tannic. There's some tannins, but like really not as much as I would expect in like a big red. Seems medium bodied. There's a good amount of acidity. I think that's maybe the one thing that's peeking through to me a little bit. I am getting more of
I don't
that,
disagree.
saliva buildup and whatnot.
Yeah.
But overall, like, it just seems very even. But I'm avoiding using the word balanced. You know what I mean? Like, it's like across the board. But I feel like a lot of times when we use balance, we talk about in like a way of like elegance, and I don't know if that's necessarily the case here.
It's almost like, let me see if this resonates. It's like, to me, it's kind of like a TV dinner. Like, everything is there, and it's in its little compartment. And, like, you can be like, yes, this is the Salisbury steak. This is the green beans. They're there, but it's not really, it's not necessarily coming together to make anything nice. It's just there.
I checked the boxes.
That's a pretty good visual, right?
Yeah, that was great.
No, that hits really hard. I'm not. Not only can I picture the TV dinner, but you're absolutely right. It's just all kind of disjointed. Like, there are flavors and there is structure, but
And it's like, it's not even necessarily, when I think about each, flavor, each element of this, it's not, they're all fine individually.
sure,
There's just no cohesion. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. No, there's nothing like terribly offensive.
Yeah, and I think this is a really kind of cool place that we are when we talk about this now, because we are naming, like, off the bat, like, this isn't bad, but there's more that we can look
Colin's
for.
face right there when you said that was pretty funny.
We've had bad, guys. We've had bad. This is
Yeah.
without getting the reviews yet, but there's like, we've named all the things, and there's something disjointed with it.
Sure.
Right? The TV dinner tray is separating all the pieces, and I think that's actually a perfect description of this.
Thank you.
Any last thoughts on this before we give it a break to open up, maybe?
I don't think there's too much more to explore here.
No, I think we got it.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get in to our learning segment, and let's learn a little bit more about the portfolio that we're drinking today.
Nice.
Because it's a classic Napa Valley vineyard.
Time to drop some knowledge. Wine drops.
All right, so today we're going to do kind of a quick rundown of where Decoy lands in this larger Duckhorn portfolio, because Duckhorn was definitely the flagship foundational vineyard. They're, definitely one of the premier vineyards in Napa Valley. When you go down that strip and you can visit all those different vineyards, they're one of the big ones on that strip that people like to check out. But where does Decoy land in this? Where did they come from? So, Joel, what is the actual relationship between Duckhorn and Decoy?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty interesting story, and it's one that we should definitely talk about here, because you're right. This is a very well-known vineyard. I mean, this is a big name in Napa Valley and just California wines to begin with. So let's talk about where this fits into the portfolio. So Duckhorn Vineyards, that's the parent winery, founded in 1976 in Napa Valley by Dan and Margaret Duckhorn. So it's actually their last name. I didn't know this.
I'm shocked by that fact
Oh,
right there. Got to be
that's
honest with
very
you.
Cool, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I love
there
when
you
your
go.
last name just gives you the branding.
We don't need a marketing team here. We've got a cool last name. And, so founded in 1976, really known for their Merlot and Bordeaux style blends. Okay. So they were trying to do something, pretty fancy and elegant. Decoy came about because, and this came about in 1985, originally as just sort of it was the second label, and what they were trying to do was use the grapes that they knew weren't quite the quality for their top wines, but still make something decent and enjoyable. So started making the Decoy, and over time it got pretty big. It got pretty famous. These people who are good winemakers are making, a wine with, maybe not the top level grapes, but it's a decent wine sort of a thing. So both under the umbrella of Duckhorn portfolio. So this does include, obviously, the Decoy that we're drinking today. They have something called the Golden Eye. It's Pinot Noir from Anderson Valley. They have Migration, Paradox, the Canvasback, Aaron, the one that you want to try from Washington, among some others. But really, I think good that we're calling this out because whether we're positive or negative, however that is, I do want us to just recognize, this is the intro. This is the very accessible and value priced introduction into the Duckhorn Vineyards, which offers a very wide range of other offerings as well.
Right, and I think that's so interesting that you just shared that it kind of started with like what are we doing with the grapes that aren't up to par, and yeah, it's big, it's its own brand now. I'm sure there's its own quality level, but when you go to a wine shop, they're next to each other, right? Like it says Decoy and then right on the label, and this isn't always the case. Sometimes wines are part of the same portfolio, but you got to kind of go to the back to find it. They put this right on the front of the Decoy labels that this is a Duckhorn wine, because they want to use that reputation to also bring folks in. So sure. I think that's important to note and to know kind of where it is. And so, Colin, if you could just talk to us from like a practical level, if someone is looking at the Decoy bottle and they're looking at the Duckhorn bottle and they're debating whether or not they want to spend $20 or $50, like what in general does that actually turn into in the experience and the quality of the wine?
Sure. Yeah. So brands have been making second wines for a really long time. It actually started in Bordeaux as a way to sell more wine there. So it's not totally uncommon to see second wines from a big brand. And the whole idea of a secondary wine is you're using grapes that you couldn't necessarily use for your flagship blends. So, the grapes are going to be a little bit different and usually not a huge decline in quality. When you see a true second wine, you can oftentimes find a lot of value in second wines, because if you think about the flagship wines, only get the best grapes that they bring in that harvest, right? So just because they might be getting great grapes from a vineyard that don't necessarily fit into the flagship wine that they're then going to use for a second wine. Now,
right. It's not good versus bad. It's perfect versus not perfect.
Yeah, that's right. So, which is what makes the flagship wines a little bit more expensive. Aaron, you mentioned you could find the Duckhorn starting around 50 and up. Honestly, I'm not sure what their top is, but I'm sure their top goes 150
top.
plus.
Yeah,
top. Yeah, it's pretty top, I'm sure. And then of course you can find these from, we're looking at 17 to hopefully not more than 30. So the style of wine you can expect, from the flagship wines, the Duckhorn, there's going to be either big, bold, ageable cabs. The Decoy is meant to be a little bit more approachable, ready to drink. The grapes, they're going to use a lot of the same grapes. Again, site matters quite a bit, so they might be using different grapes from the same site, or they might source totally different grapes from different sites for the secondary wine, the Decoy, compared to the Duckhorn. So there's a lot that goes into the decision as to what makes a good flagship versus a good secondary. And then, of course, your flagship wines, they're going to be more ageable. They're going to be a lot more complex. They're going to be the ones that, collectors seek out, as opposed to the second wines that, they want you to grab off the shelf and enjoy whenever they can.
And thanks to both of you for explaining that, because I think that's just a huge and important picture of what we're looking at here. It's not just this is their cheaper or they're less well made, but there's like an intentionality to it, right? Like this is what we're doing with this wine. and it might be cost reduction, it might be style. I think the really interesting piece too is like the ready to drink aspect. It's like you're gonna spend more money on a bottle that maybe you're gonna lay down, versus like this is supposed to kind of be at that place where you just open it up and drink it. You're not supposed to buy a bottle of Decoy and lay it down for 10 years. So all of that's super helpful. And I want a name for this bottle. I looked this up on the tech sheet. So this was aged 18 months in 40% new French oak. I know we've talked about this before, but can one of you remind me, what does it mean if it says that the wine is only 40% in new French oak?
Yeah, and I think this one specifically too says 40% new French oak, 60% neutral. I don't know what that neutral really means, but Colin, what break that down for us?
Yeah, so 40% new French oak means that 40% of the blend was aged in new French oak, and then the 60% neutral, when talking about barrels, it means barrels that have been used before. So you're not necessarily imparting any of the barrel flavor that you'd get from the toast, but you are still getting the benefits of barrel aging.
I think I might appreciate that they did that in this wine.
Sure.
As to not over oak and not kind of lean on that. I feel like that sometimes happens. But I mean, I guess also like color me impressed that I thought for sure that we'd be in an oak chip situation. But that's pretty cool that they're actually aging this thing for 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, so awesome. So we just learned so much. We have a kind of a better understanding now of the whole portfolio, what it means, what it means to buy a bottle of Decoy, what it means to buy a bottle of Duckhorn. Let's give it one more sip. Let's tuck our noses in there one more time, see if we pull out anything new. And then let's give it a review. Let's kind of land on it. Let the people know what they should be expecting. Joel, Colin, anything new?
To go back to Joel's previous TV dinner analogy, I think the mashed potatoes might be playing with the peas a little bit better. You know what I'm saying?
It's blended a little time.
Yeah.
It's kind of yeah.
Right. It hasn't fully merged, but like you're getting some nice sense of a couple different components as opposed to just like one over here and one over there.
Yeah. And I have to say, I am pouring with an aerator. So I think like maybe I'm giving mine like just a little bit more. It's not feeling as, I don't know, maybe jarring as the way you guys are describing it. I am getting it a little bit blended a little bit. I don't know. It's not beating me up the way that it's being described, but understand the reference. Joel's thinking, the wheel is spinning.
I agree with what you guys are saying. There's a little bit more mingling going on in there.
Just a little bit, though. I said the
Just
couple of
mingling.
peas might have made it into the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
We're not enjoying a 5-star meal here. Don't
They
get me
fell
wrong.
off the
I'm not-
fork on the way to the mouth, and that's
There's a little mashed potato left on the fork when you went to scoop up the peas.
Wonderful accident.
exactly. I think we're getting a little too deep into this analogy now, but
yeah, we should.
it makes sense.
We are playing Viterations later, and I was going to ask if this was a meal. So we got TV dinner. I'm going to have to change that one. But okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you blew it. You were way ahead of the game. 3 steps ahead per usual. That being said, I need you to use all, that big brain thinking of yours and let the people know. Joel, why don't you start us off? How are you reviewing this one?
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
All right, if I could give a sticker maybe for most unexpectedly better than I thought, this might be a contender.
Picking up new stickers that are way too long.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things again where it's like it's pleasant, like we've been saying. The individual flavors are fine. There's 2 things that are knocking it for me right now. It's the lack of cohesion that we've talked about, and it's just how it's so thin. Like, man, like there's no experience with it. There's no mouthfeel situation at all. It's just like 100%. Here's a little flavor, bye. And I think for both of those reasons, yeah, exactly. I think I'm wine. For both of those reasons, this is going to be a backup wine for me. It's going to be one that I will not be sad if I have to go and open this thing, but that's going to be sitting there as a backup for a little while.
Colin, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think this defines the backup wine category.
Yeah.
Because, like, you've already had a couple bottles of wine, and you pull this out, Like, cool. Yeah.
Sure.
Like, whatever. It's fine. I'm going to drink it, But am I going to go buy this and get really excited about it? No. But, I think Joel nailed a lot of the problems with it. It's just okay. And, that's what a backup wine is. It's just okay. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to join you with that, Joel, in the backup
Nice.
category.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm excited. We're all on the same page here. Like I was nervous at the beginning that this was going to get something weird going on, but no, I actually think it's backup wine, like in the most positive sense of the way. Like it's a $17 bottle of wine, and it's unoffensive, and I can see people really enjoying this. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh man, I kind of love the Decoy Cab Sauv, like cool, good for you. Like there's so much potential for better, especially at this price point. And I hope you listen to the show and know that there's other $17 bottles of wine that we can point you to that are gonna knock your socks off. But if you like this, like we don't. It doesn't have the fake oak or the menthol knocking your like. It's a good backup wine. It's a great bottle of wine to keep in the back of your pantry to have. Like if you're gonna have a bunch of people over and you're worried about running out, spending $17 on a bottle of this that you pull out at the end of the night, like that's exactly what this is for. It's that wine that you want to open when you don't want to open anything nice, but you need to open something. Yeah. So I'm 100% with you guys. Solid backup wine.
There we go.
And at $17, is anyone arguing this is a waste of your wine?
Well, I'm still a little upset with myself that I spent 22 on this while you guys spent 17.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put myself in the headspace of I spent $17 on this, and I'm gonna say it's not a waste. It's not a waste.
Yeah, I think it's a waste at any dollar amount over $17. If you can find it for 17, buy it. If you can find it for 22, don't buy it.
No, yeah, I agree with you. And I think this is the kind of wine that if you go to your local liquor store and it's in the wine section, they're going to have it marked up. They're going to have it marked up for its like brand recognition, for where it is, for where it's from. I would not be surprised if I went to the liquor store around the corner, which has a huge wine section.
Liquor store around the corner. Go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, wow. Marble number 5?
Sorry, I just couldn't let a little Lou
Okay.
Bega lyric go by without calling it out.
You can. You got to keep it
Continue.
alive. You say his name 2 more times, or he's going to pop out of a mirror. Look, like, I guarantee this is $25 at the liquor store around the corner. And so, like, this would be, I think it's a really great point of if you were going to a big wine store that has kind of fair prices, this is a great wine to buy it back up from that $15, $17 price. If you are in a pinch and you're running into your liquor store where everything's kind of marked up a few bucks, listen to some of our other episodes because we're sure there's some better wines in there that you can grab at the price point. This isn't the one you want to grab for $25, $27. It's going to get marked up too.
Truth.
Agreed.
Cool. All right, gentlemen, before we go, so not a waste of your wine at the price point
At
that it's
$17.
at $17. Not a waste of your wine at $17. We haven't had like a backup wine, a solid backup wine, which is a funny sentence, but yeah, it's a backup wine.
I feel like I gotta say here, though, too, this might be, we've said that we're going to do multiple offerings from a vineyard, from a producer.
Sure.
This might be the perfect one to go and try, the Duckhorn vineyards, the Bordeaux style situation, and see, because that would be a really cool comparison.
No, I would love to. I think we should. I think I want to try the Canvasback. I want to try the Duckhorn, and I think it'd be really cool, especially if we can find Cab Sauvs for each of these, and really kind of naming like this is like the quality difference if you spend a little bit more money, at least within this portfolio. Like we know we can find really strong examples from different producers, but I think that would be a lot of fun.
I think this is kind of cool too, that it's a lot of the times I think a big brand will be something where this producer got into it because they had the mission of, I want to make something that is consistent and easy and appealing and people will enjoy, drink it. It won't offend anybody and they're going to buy it a lot. And I'm just going to push this down everybody's throats. This is the exact opposite to that story. This is a producer that was making great wine that decided to, let's take a step down. Let's make our second label. Let's use the not as great grapes and see if we can make something consistently pretty good. And I think, it's just a different way of looking at it. It's still entry into something. It's still a low price point, but it's just like almost like a different vision that got them there. So I think it's just an interesting thing there. And I think the thing that stuck with me that we learned today too, that really emphasizes that, is that they actually aged this in oak. I do think that's pretty cool.
Totally.
For sure.
A great little aside, Joe. Before we leave, though, let's play a game. We're going to play one of our new games, and I think it's becoming one of my favorite games in my brain. I really enjoyed it last time we did it, and this game is called Viterations. Joel, can you explain to the listener how we play this game?
Absolutely. You've all played this game in one form or another. You've all sat around and said, hey, you know what? If you were an animal, what animal would you be? Same thing here, guys, but we're going to do this. If this wine were a blank, what would it be?
Ooh, nice.
So
nice.
That's the game. Aaron.
That was a great explanation, Joel. That was a great way to explain that game. Good job.
He's so good.
Thanks.
He's so good.
Excellent. All right, so for our first one, gentlemen, if this Decoy Cab Sauv was a weather forecast, what kind of weather forecast would it be, Colin?
Yeah, I would say this would be a sun shower. It's still sunny outside, but you're getting rained on, right? Because it has a brand to back it up. It's not terrible, but if you spent more than $17, you're probably disappointed.
That's good. That's good. Mine was actually a day like today. Mine's a day where it starts like 67 degrees, sunny and perfect, and then all of a sudden by halfway through the day it's like 85, and you're like, wait, I was comfortable and now I'm uncomfortable, and then it's nighttime and it's cold again. You're just like, can this just be a better day? Like, it was so close to being a really good day, and then just things went wrong. It's just it's just almost a really good day.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I like that.
Yeah. I was going to say something similar. The weather forecast of this one is where it's going to be beautiful for the entire time where you're in an office working, and then right at like 5:15 when you're leaving, it's just going to get really shitty. And it's good the whole time you're sitting in the office. It's a beautiful day. It's right there.
It's there.
It's out there, but you just can't get to it.
Oh man. I love that. Awesome. All right. If this Decoy Cab Sauv was a type of roommate, what type of roommate would this be?
Yeah.
Joe, you want to start off in this one?
This is the guy. He's cool. He's chill. He's not really funny. He's not really, doesn't bring a lot of friends or anything, but he brings an Xbox. That's what this is.
Yeah, no, mine was right there. I was like, the kind of guy you don't see much. He doesn't play his music too loud. He's not very offensive. He doesn't dirty your dishes. He's just kind of around. They're sometimes when you need him, but you don't know him too well.
Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the kind of roommate who has the potential to be a great roommate. He loves to vacuum, but he does it at like 5:30 in the morning because he's a morning person, and that's what he vacuums. He'll do the dishes, but he'll do it at 11 o'clock at night, and he'll do it noisily after you've gone to bed. Like, all the pieces are there, but he's just not doing it at the right time to be a good roommate.
I like that angle. Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Last one. If this Decoy Cab Sauv was a kitchen appliance, what kind of kitchen appliance would it be? I gotta go first. I feel like I've gotten the last laugh on all these. I'll go first in this one.
For it.
I feel like this would be a functional coffee pot. It makes coffee. It's just gonna make coffee, and it's gonna be sometimes kind of burnt and not the best coffee. It's making coffee, and you're gonna get what you put in it. But there's no bells and whistles. It's coffee.
Yeah,
for sure. I kind of again had the same idea that this wine would be a toaster. It's useful. You're not always going to use it. You might forget about it sometimes if you're not toasting things all the time. But yeah, you use it sometimes, and sometimes it does a good job, and sometimes it doesn't do a good job. And that's your toaster.
See, my mind immediately went to the old George Foreman grill. Okay, it's got a big name attached to it. It sounds good in theory.
Love
doesn't really work most of the time, and most of the time it comes out kind of crappy. But it's people are buying them.
Well done. That's perfect.
That was the best one, I think, out of the 3 different questions that best fit what
All
this
right,
wine
y'all.
is.
That was Viterations. I'm telling you, probably my new favorite game. I just love this,
It
and
is
it really
fun.
just puts the experience of the wine in perspective. All right, guys. So we've done it. We did another big brand week. How are you two feeling at the end of this episode?
I think Big Brand Week is fun. You know, like we have to. I love what we do most of the time, getting into the new regions and the new grapes and all that good stuff, and finding really great, really cool producers. But this is a big aspect of the wine world and the wine industry.
Sure.
We gotta check them out. We gotta see what's going on. No, I think it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not always the best for us, but I think
It's important.
it's worth, especially the value I think we can provide here. Just letting people know that sometimes some of these might be all right. Hopefully we continue to wade through the muck and the mire here and find a couple decent ones for you guys.
And the folks that are coming on this journey with us, right? Like the folks who are learning about wine, who might have the foundational wine habits of like, I like drinking wine, but I don't know what to drink. Like, these are the folks that we're grabbing of like, are you drinking Decoy? Have you thought about drinking Decoy? Should you? Like, let's figure this out together.
And I like what you guys are saying, and I think it's super fun. But it's also the other side of the coin, which is, did you know that there's other $17 bottles of wine
Yep.
at different stores that are really, really good? I'm doing the Joe Biden right now, but like that's also there. Look at our other episodes.
for sure.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same price point for better wine. Check it out.
You can't spot a lie. No lie detected.
All right. Another fantastic episode of Stop Wasting Wine. We're excited. We have a lot of great things coming your way. A lot of amazing wine folks coming on the show. A lot of amazing new wines being reviewed. Please come back. And if you want to do more than just listen, Joel, how else can people interact with our show?
Instagram and YouTube. Those are your places. Stop Wasting Your Wine on both of those. And check out stopwastingyourwine.com to see everything else that we've reviewed.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Another amazing episode. Folks, we'll see you next week.
And remember, stop wasting your wine.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.